Good evening, everybody. I'm back once again with another terrifying tale. In tonight's episode, we're not going to be carrying on from the Domestic Nightmare series. However, the next episodes have already been written, or at least so far. I would still love to hear what you guys would think and any sort of inputs and ideas, what you would like to see happen to the characters. However, let's focus on tonight's story, which I would like to call A City of Shadows. NYCTOPHOBIA, an intense, irrational fear of darkness, or at least that is what you'll find if you look it up online. It couldn't be further from the truth. After all, it's the unknown which horrifies us, and we never know what dwells, what watches from the dark corners, the voidful doorway, or the unlit underpass, until we either choose to enter, or when we are pulled inside. The city I live in has made the most unorthodox decision. At a strike of 11 PM, every streetlight is switched off. Save the planet, they say. No, it's more like save the money. The entire city plummets into a hauntingly eerie sea of darkness. And sadly, I work a night shift. I finish around 10 PM. Sometimes later, and worse yet, I'm not driving at this point, so that means, yeah, I walk home. And it's there that my story starts. It's a cold and foggy winter night, and finally, after 10 ghoulish hours, I've finished another long shift. It's my first full-time job since coming out of education, and I'm still getting used to the fact of heading home and going to bed knowing I'm the only one there. Well, that's unless my roommate is in for once, but to emphasise, no parents, no siblings, just me, myself, and my very infrequent flatmate. I notice my colleagues waving me off. They mean well, but once I'm out of there, the mask comes off. I just want to stick in my earphones and make my way home. After all, it's getting late, and it's getting dark. As a post-college girl, there's a lot of worries walking home at night, I know. I should probably get a taxi, but that ties into my not driving. I'm doing what I can to cut corners to save for my lessons. After all, it's a modest 30 to 40 minute walk. And if I want to make it through the underpasses, it's even quicker. There's a lot of them where I live, and no one walks them after curfew. I navigate through the fog, ensnaring the high street, avoiding the pubs and the weeknight drunks. After a short while, the lights of the pubs fade. I check the time, and it's only just past 10 PM, meaning I've got almost an hour until they decide to switch out the lights and force our city into the shadows. The thought of it makes me uneasy. Not necessarily that I'm scared of the dark. It's more that when the light shifts, it's like the world around you moves, changes. Roads are not where you remember them. Unfamiliar buildings stand tall. And all sense of direction is distorted as a route you once knew becomes a distorted labyrinth of failed muscle memory and anxiety. In the midst of my thoughts, I look around, realizing I'm somehow dazed, and taken a wrong turn. I don't entirely recognise where I am. The streetlights are still lit, and yet here I am. What appears to be an underpass intersection. I stand before two underpasses, one long and fully lit underpass. I cannot make out the other side, since the light builds to a great contrast on the night sky at its exit, then a smaller, partially lit underpass. I can hear something coming from that direction. It's quiet, but it almost sounds like the faint crying, like a single or several children crying nearby. I feel something drawing me towards it, like a strange magnetism. I then find myself stepping forward. However, as I approach, something hits the top of my head. In a daze of confusion, I stop and I look up. It's a deformed doll's head, hung by twine, swinging from above ominously. Its empty eyes staring from empty sockets of a macabre painted greyish-blue tone. The thing looks dead, drowned, tortured. A sense of discomfort fills my stomach, burning and twisting. I grab the doll head, and in that moment, a sudden tension takes control of my body. I try to move, my breathing stuttering. I'm fixated on the underpass. A mass of shadows, the darkness that strangles all light from its path. And yet, the darkness, it appears to be moving, breathing. It's like as though it's forming, taking shape. It's much like the macabre dance of shadows on the ceiling of your childhood bedroom as the moonlight spills in through the window, summoning your worst nightmare. The sound of those eerie cries grow louder, more defined, more demanding. I want so much to turn, to look away, yet it's like several cold hands are holding me in place, ensuring I bear witness to what horror takes form, to what terror crawls from the shadows. A pale faint shape blurs into existence. A face, its features distorted. As I focus, I realise that tears are forming in my eyes. Cold tears streaming down my cheeks as the dreadful grey-like face dances forward. The shadows gather like a trailed cloak, pulling from the corners, drawn to the thing as it dances like corpses merging from the dark water. A rush of air and liquid past my lips. I think it's blood. Finally, I can move. I feel the hooks breaking from me, releasing me from its nightmarish spell. I move as fast as my legs will take me. I have to get home. I need to get away. I run, my body hot and frozen all at once. I wipe my face to find my hand coated in a deep dark red. I am bleeding. With all my strength, I fight and finally shake it off, realizing I have to choose fight or flight. I opt for the safer, the smarter option. I then realize the streetlights, they're starting to flicker. It's almost time. Somehow near an hour has passed. Some time later, I burst into my house, my chest aflame, tight, restricting. I slam the door shut and switch on the hallway light. I collapse against a wall and begin sobbing, crying. I hear a thud coming from inside the house. After a moment, I begin to wander through cautiously, quietly, albeit I'm deafened by the rapping of my own heart thundering between my ears. I peek into the doorway ahead, the lounge. I blindly caress the wall in search of the light switch. I found it. I flick it on and the light bulb lets off a soft buzz, lighting the room for but a split second. And just as quickly, the room plummets to darkness. I peer into the room and I see my roommate Lila sat on the sofa facing the wall. Since going by how dark the room is, the TV is clearly off. The hallway light highlights her frame, contouring her features, but obscuring her eyes. Lila? No response. Lila, you're starting to scare me. Again, no response. She remains static, her form unchanging, just staring forward, stuck. And in my mind flashes back. I recall that moment, that hour in a heartbeat. I remember being frozen. I remember the dark. I enter the room, and suddenly the sound of children's cries begin to resonate once more into a terrible drone. Lila! I cry aloud. Her face turns so slightly as I recognise thick, dark fluid pouring from every orifice on her face. So gaunt, so pale. Then I see it, that familiar grey face, slowly forming out of nothing, out of the dark corner she'd faced. I scream, falling backward, my body rigid as I struggle to my feet. The children's cries grow louder, deafening. I scamper to my feet and struggle to the front door. The door I locked. I panic, searching my pockets as the cries grow louder, my skin tight, the hairs on my neck standing. Finally, the keys, I found them. I struggle with the lock, forcing the key, and it turns. It clicks. I turn the handle and pull the door open, and a dozen pitch black arms outstretched from behind me, forcing the door shut. The hallway light buzzes, flickers. I feel it behind me as my hallway turns to darkness. It's staring as a mirage of cold hands grip into my flesh. I lose complete control. I'm fixed, immobile, helpless, as they slowly force me around to witness the terrible void, the black, infernal abyss, the hollow eyes. Well guys, thank you very much for listening. That'll be A City in Shadows. Now this is one I actually wrote when I first ever narrated horror stories on YouTube. A very, very, very long time ago. Please don't check out the original story on my other channel. It's not very good. I recorded it with the integral microphone of my laptop, so you can only imagine how it sounds. The story might be okay, but time has not treated it well. But anyway, you've got this one. And do you know what, guys? I'm quite tempted to continue this story on, or to delve into the lore of this character, this creature that I named for Hollow Eyes. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section, as I always say. Anyway, thank you very much for listening, as I said. Be sure to share the scares. And as always, keep it creepy.